Hey, this is Dr. Infinity. Welcome to White Pill Media.
Look alive, wage slaves! Presenting.
And I'm going to be reviewing The Blue Max. It's a 1966 movie about a German World War I fighter pilot. This was recommended to me from one of the people commenting on the channel, so I appreciate that. I like the movie, and I'm going to have spoilers going in. Just get right in. We start in 1916 in World War I, and we see we begin with like the scene of like trench warfare and these German soldiers just running, and it's just total chaos. And this is a pretty unromantic like view of war, and I was kind of confused going in the movie because I went in blind. I just had the recommendation and I wanted to go in blind. Our main character, this Bruno Stachel, he kind of comes. He has a nice moment early on where he tosses these infantry guys a bottle, and I'm like, that's a nice gesture. He's going to be a good guy.
That was a full bottle, Herr Leutnant. Yes.
But Stachel is like a pretty bad dude, and then like figuring it out or looking it up later, where the director intended this to be like an unromantic movie, and Stachel is supposed to be like a piece of shit, and I'm like, okay, that made more sense because I was trying to like, when's he gonna get redeemed? When's he gonna get redeemed in the movie? But that made more sense to me. He's really interested in getting a Blue Max medal. And apparently this is a medal where if you get like 20 kills, if you bring down like 20 aircraft, that you're given this medal, right? Retard me. When I was thinking about it, I was thinking like Blue Max, like Red Baron pizza, Blue Max pizza. Is that what's going on? Like, it's going to be Red Baron and the Blue Max. But no. That's just me being an American. The Blue Max is just this medal, and he really wants this medal, and we don't really understand his motivations for why he's so desperate for it. And then when he's brought in to meet the rest of the pilots, he is more of an outsider because they seem to be like a higher class than him. I mean, like kind of aristocracy, sort of. And he comes from the lower classes, and I don't know if that was a thing where it's just like cavalry, I guess like back in the day, like the richer people, the wealthier people would be like a part of the cavalry rather than the infantry, and I don't know if that's how it was with, the Air Force back then, where it would be kind of a nobility thing or a more rich person like branch of the military, you know what I mean? But he's kind of an outsider, and we're kind of like, I don't know if rooting for him is the right way, but we're kind of like endeared to him a little bit, right? We are. But we kind of see like Stachel really early on, like super early, that like I thought he was like kind of a fucking psycho at first, where he was out with another pilot, Fabian, right? And his this other German pilot, he goes down, right? And no one can confirm that Stachel shot down an enemy plane, and he's so much more concerned with his kill being counted than with his fellow pilot, being killed. He doesn't give a shit about it. And it's just like, holy fuck, this guy did like, not a 180, but like, you know what I mean? You kind of had an idea of who he was, what type of person he was, being in the trench warfare and everything. You're like, he's going to be like kind of a heroic guy, like working his way up through the ranks, but he really doesn't give a shit about anyone but himself, which is kind of an interesting for like an anti-hero bit. I think there can be a tendency with like people making like quote unquote like morally gray characters where they do like too much fucked up shit. So then when like the author tries to redeem them, it doesn't work. But I don't think this movie does that. I think it works as it is, right? It works here. In some other media, it doesn't work. I liked a lot of his kind of rivalry and back and forth with Willie, where they're also like rivals in the air because Willie has won a Blue Max, and they're also rivals for the Countess, right? They're rivals for this Countess who's really beautiful, and we have some good dog fights and all that. I'm not like I guess I haven't seen too many movies with like dog fights and that, but it was cool. Like it was interesting. It's not something you see like too much. I guess like really, especially now for movies. I'm not sure when like what other ones I've really seen. Like there's The Aviator, but that was just about like this dude directing movies and it involved dogfights, right? I really liked it when they're filming this propaganda, these propaganda photographs, and we have Stoschel, and he's at this hospital where Hauptmann, and Hauptmann is like his commanding officer of the Air Corps, right? And Hauptmann's wife is a nurse here, and they have her cover up her bloodstained clothes because she's taking care of all these wounded soldiers out in the hallway, and they have her cover up the blood in a propaganda photo because they don't want blood associated with it. And I thought that was interesting. I thought that was a nice little moment. I thought that was cool. I do like the scene where Stoschel has been with the Countess. He has been with the Countess, and we have this confrontation with Willie over the 1903 champagne, and Stoschel obviously wants Willie to ask, like, what year's that champagne, but he's not going to fucking ask. He's going to make him say it. That's a nice little scene. The rivalry just builds up further and further and further, where we have Willie, like, kind of going, they're doing, like, these dangerous, like, bridge, not bridge maneuvers. They're, like, diving between these pillars of a bridge, right? The supports of a bridge, right? And eventually, it's just like you're kind of like waiting for something to go wrong, and then it fucking does. Where Willie ends up getting killed over it, and Stoschel doesn't give a shit. He doesn't give a shit, and I didn't think he would care. It's just like, it's just more of reinforcement of like, wow, this is a really bad dude. This is a really bad dude. I like Hauptmann's little speech about him being a better man than you, and I didn't even think that Stoschel would go this far where he's lying about those 2 kills being his when they're Willie's. He's like, what a bastard. What a bastard. He's a good guy though. Like, he's a like interesting villain where he's like, he's not too cartoony. Like, he's believable.
He was a better man than you.
I'm asking you if those 2 planes are yours or Willie's. All right, they're mine. They belong to me.
Stoschel? I've just read your armorer's report. Your guns were jammed. You only fired 40 rounds.
And, after this, we have, Germany's now in retreat, and the war is just going, like, really south for Germany now. The Countess is trying to get Stoschel to go with him to, I believe it's Switzerland. Right, I think it's, like, Switzerland. He won't go with her, He doesn't really give a shit about her. I think he only really pursued her because Willie was into her. You know what I mean? I don't think he values really anything, honestly. Except for the medal, except for that kind of recognition. Like, anything outside of himself, he doesn't really care about. We have him getting the medal. He gets the Blue Max, and he's very happy and proud of this. We have this this test model plane, and we have it. Hauptmann ends up testing it, and he's like, this is a death trap. We can't really use this. And we figure out that the wife has gone behind her husband, the general's back, to tell the field marshal that Stoschel has lied about his kills, and there's going to be this investigation. And the general is really panicking because he's been building up Stoschel as this propaganda tool for like the, I guess, like middle or lower classes of Germany, as this kind of like figure, just something to be inspired by. And if this gets out, if this investigation happens, then that's kind of destroyed. All that work is gone, right? So the general puts Stoschel in the plane that he knows is a death trap to protect this image. And he's like, holy shit, this is a good scene. I think that image of them in the office with the plane crashing in the background, I think that's great. I think that's really, really great. This is a really good movie. This is a solid, like, I guess, war movie. I wouldn't call it, like, subversive just because it's, like, a non-chivalrous war, but I would call it, like, an unromantic movie. It kind of breaks that image of like these kind of dashing rogue fighter pilots, right? And no, he's not like a dashing rogue. He's not like a rogue. He's more of like a villain, or he's very selfish. He's self-centered. I guess villain is a fine way to describe him. He's not a good person. But anyways, I thought this was a solid movie. Appreciate the recommendation. And I have other reviews on my channel. A good historical TV show is I, Claudius. I love it. It's really great British television. And I have some other movies and reviews on my channel. Yeah, I'm probably going to cover John Carpenter's like Escape from New York, Escape from LA. I'm probably also going to cover They Live, and I'm going to kind of be discussing some of the politics around it. I liked some parts of Escape from New York, but overall, not like I like some John Carpenter's movies, but I'm just going to cover them. I'm going to talk about some of the politics involved with it, but that's going to be it from me. Dr. Infinity out. Thanks for watching.